Hey guys, this is Brian Sykes with AI Explore, and yes, this is what I look like with my beard off. I did a quick video today that I used generative AI stills, and I manipulated each of the images to create what looked like moving imagery. I want to walk you through that process. So, first place I started was inside of Midjourney, where I created a basic prompt, and the prompt allows me to define the characters and create some visual cohesion. The prompt structure I'm going to paste right here on the window so you can see what I did with that. From those, I selected my image of a young girl with a white top in downtown Detroit, and using Adobe Photoshop Beta, I was able to select the subject, remove her from the background temporarily, and use the generative field to replace what was taken. And then I brought her back as a separate layer and created then two layers inside of Photoshop Beta to work with. These two layers I could save as a PSD, drop it into After Effects. So this was what I did. Next tool is Adobe After Effects, and inside of Adobe After Effects I used a tool called Volumax 7. Now Volumax 7 is kind of a fun little application. It has the ability to work with either a wire mesh that you place over top of an object, or to work with the depth maps. In this case, I used the portrait setup and worked with the wire mesh, and it used the female face, which is fairly straightforward to work with. Once you get the hang of this is not a complicated tool. It just takes forever for it to render. So you can see in this basic editing, I've got a portrait layer, I've got a background layer, and then I've got the basic mesh layer where I'm able to create, or the setup layer where I apply the mesh to the face and get everything lined up. Once everything's set, you turn off X-ray mode and you're able to move the camera, and as you pan the camera inside of After Effects, it creates a 3D image. You have to be careful in your extreme movements so that you do not distort the face too much as it's stretched and positioned based off the mesh. And then that's what you created, is this basic little animation. With the other layers, what I did are fairly straightforward. So the guy with the soccer ball, similar setup. I was able to use the Volumax tool to create motion of his head. For the others, I just did simple animations inside of Premiere, which basically I increased the size of the image, and I did a position movement inside of Adobe Premiere to create the effect. With the girl with the red hair and the Detroit background, I used Adobe Photoshop Beta again to remove her from the background, clean up the buildings, have her as a separate layer. And when I dropped her inside of Premiere, I could then move the layers separately. So as I zoomed in on this, I'm moving them at different speeds. This creates a sense of depth, and it looks like the girl and the back building are truly separate. And so that's the basics. Each of these items have been dropped into their own layers and manipulated and created. And this is the video.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'm a designer and a content creator, and I started surfing the AI wave back in August 2022, and at that time I met Brian on LinkedIn. I still remember he was sharing some nice car visual, and I'm a car enthusiast, I would say. I connected with him and then started to chat with him about AI, and that kind of stuff. And Brian always like supported me since the beginning. We shared all his exploration. He tried a lot of stuff, and I could improve quickly my kind of level in AI art due to his tips and tricks and everything he was sharing. So I want to say big thanks to Brian. Thank you for helping me and empowering me. I now get some gigs doing AI design, AI consulting, that kind of stuff. So thank you. And you can also check his interview. I got him on my blog a few months ago on madebyai.xyz. So if you want to read more about Brian, that's a nice place to start. And yeah, thanks, Brian, for all the help you are doing for the community and for the AICC community on LinkedIn.